All right, so AOC sarcastically says that, quote, tuition-free public college is a dangerous socialist takeover of higher ed, as opposed to the far superior capitalist takeover of higher ed, which reliably buries millions of Americans in trillions of dollars in debt and graduates them into low-paying jobs without good health care. Now, this is a pretty bad take on the situation. I mean, first of all, I don't know what she is talking about in regard to some capitalist takeover of higher education. It's been more and more government guaranteeing and giving out loans as time goes on. Nothing could be clearer. It's almost as if she lives on a different planet. I don't even know what to make of this. In fact, I think AOC might be under the same misunderstanding that Maxine Waters was. If you recall, Maxine Waters was speaking to some of the top banking CEOs in the U.S. about the student loan debt crisis and asking them what they're doing to help the situation. How are you offering reprieve from this for people? And one by one, they go down the line and remind, or maybe inform, as Maxine Waters seemed oblivious to this fact, but they had to let her know, hey, we've gotten out of student loans for years at this point after government took it over. We don't give out student loans anymore. I think AOC needs to have a chat with Maxine Waters before she embarrasses herself again, as Maxine did during that hearing, because to me it is astonishing and completely unforgivable that people working in the top echelon in government don't even know what industries that have nearly completely been taken over by government. In fact, I would go so far as to say that if you are in Congress and you are found to be unaware of what industries have been completely absorbed by the federal government, if you are clueless to something like that, you need to pack up your office and get out. You're too dangerous. You're just too dangerous to be in that office. That would be like the CEO of some company not knowing that the company is entering an entirely new market or starting an entirely new product line. That CEO would be incompetent and should be outed immediately. And a very compelling case could be made for AOC in that regard, I think. And Maxine and almost the entire lot, actually. But yeah. So AOC should be out, but we've all known that. To lay the blame of the student debt crisis at the feet of capitalism is so off base it's tough to put into words. I mean, here we have student loans not being given out by nearly any private enterprises. Government gives out the majority of student loans. Loans that should have never been given out, and this piles up the debt. And why did they give all these loans out? Well, of course, everyone deserves to go to college and get a degree. Okay, well, here's another problem you're causing. When everyone has a degree, that becomes the new default position, and it becomes worth less the more people who have the degree. For example, I have a master's degree. I used to be proud of it, and I used to think, hey, this sets me apart from so many people. But not anymore, unfortunately, because everyone under the sun is getting a master's because, yes, they found their bachelor's didn't do jack for them. And it doesn't do anything for them because either A, they got a degree in something completely unmarketable that is more of a hobby than a career or a job, and they shouldn't have gotten a loan for it, or B, everyone has a bachelor's now, so its worth is completely watered down. You go to a job interview, you tell them you have a bachelor's, guess what? So do you and 10,000 other applicants. It doesn't differentiate you at all. And yes, some colleges, by the way, do benefit greatly from the current system we've got. Who wouldn't when you've got a wellspring of potential customers that you know the federal government has a rubber stamp for all their loans that they need, guaranteeing the financing. And any sort of risk assessment, by the way, is thrown completely out of the window. Again, it is government at the root of this corruption and at the root of this problem. It is a public sector problem. That sector that saps your wealth to collectivize it and centrally plan where it should all be allocated, that's the sector we're talking about here. Not the one that might have told a good number of people, hey, this loan is really risky. It would be irresponsible for both of us to do this, to enter into this contractual agreement. Vocational school is a fantastic, cheap alternative with a great return on investment, or here are some other fields that are marketable and a better option for a career. Find one you like and come back to us. That conversation doesn't happen nearly to the extent that it needs to. And again, you've got government to thank for it. They nearly completely took it over. So AOC is just flat out wrong as usual. I'm waiting for the day that they pass some sort of universal health care or Medicare for all, and when that fails, they still manage to blame it on free market capitalism somehow. I'm just waiting for it because you know it's going to happen. But that's all for now. Like and subscribe, and take it easy.